guys, we're just going to review W1, which is writing arguments. So let's think about this as like what would be a body paragraph for a complete essay. We're just going to focus on writing one really good argumentative essay. So the first sentence, your topic sentence, would be your claim. So we've talked about your claim being clear, specific, compelling, debatable, and defensible. So a lot of you struggled with the specific and clear part of that. So I'm going to show you kind of this example. Although he died by making what many would call a rookie mistake, Chris McCandless's journey to find himself is inspiring. So what am I talking about? Chris McCandless's journey, and what about it? Finding himself, and why it's inspiring. Notice too that I have introduced a counterclaim here, and that'll be brought up over and over again throughout this paragraph. So that's one way to write a claim, is to start out with an opposing viewpoint. So then next comes the examples and explanations. So this is where you just get more specific about your claim. So I have my claim there again, and then starting here is my explanation. Few people have the courage to follow their dreams, and McCandless should be admired for this, if for nothing else. He abandoned his comfortable life to pursue something more important, the sublime. So I'm going into a much more deeper explanation about his journey and why it's inspiring. The why, just if you're not sure what to write next, just ask why. If you had the sentence previous, okay, now what? What about this? Why is this important? So I'm talking about the courage to follow his dreams. That's why he should be admired. So although he died by making what many would call a rookie mistake, Chris McCandless's journey to find himself is inspiring. Well, why is it inspiring? Next comes the evidence and commentary. So we've talked about evidence needing to be recent, relevant, and reliable. And your commentary is, why does this evidence matter? So we need to find evidence that directly supports the claim. And again, going back to this easy question, why? So if I go back, so I pulled up my source here. This is from chapter 8 of the book. And just kind of going through here, leading up to this, John Krakauer, the author, the guy that wrote this book about Chris's whole life, or this journey, this part of his life, is talking about why people talk so poorly about Chris McCandless and call him stupid for doing what he did. So he gives all these other examples, and then he kind of gets into this counterclaim. But unlike Waterman, McCunn, Rossellini, okay, these are the guys he was that Chris is often compared to. McCandless wasn't mentally ill. He didn't go into the bush assuming someone would automatically appear to save his bacon before he came to grief. Didn't conform particularly well to the bush casualty stereotype, although he was rash. He wasn't incompetent. Let's see. He wasn't a nutcase or a sociopath like the other guys were. He wasn't an outcast. He was something else, precisely what is hard to say, a pilgrim perhaps. Okay, so that's going to help me. So if I'm saying why is his journey inspiring? So I found this evidence to support it. So here's what I added. I'm going to start down after my explanation. In John Krakauer's book, so starting here, in John Krakauer's book, he explains why others condemn Chris and others like him. McCandless didn't conform particularly well to the bush casualty stereotype. Although he was rash, untutored in the ways of the backcountry, and incautious to the point of foolhardiness, he wasn't incompetent. So I went kind of a different route with my evidence here. I almost used it like as a rebuttal, explaining that no, he is not idiotic. He is inspiring for following his dreams. And so this is building, and I've already said that, so this is building on the idea that he wasn't stupid. He was very intelligent. So notice with my quote, I used a colon here to introduce my quote. If you're going to use a colon, whatever comes before it, before the actual quote, needs to be a complete sentence. So then I got my quotations and my capital. Notice down here, no punctuation there, author's last name and page number, and period after the parentheses. So there's my evidence, and now my commentary. Chris didn't have delusions about being rescued, and he didn't want fame. He only wanted to explore the world as transcendentalists did before him. So, kind of going back to the counterclaim that I've talked about already, he didn't have delusions. He didn't want fame. So that's why his journey would be idiotic if those were the things he was looking for. He wanted to explore the world transcendentalists did before him. That's why it's inspiring, because he wanted to really find who he was, what was the greater purpose in life. So then I've already brought in a counterclaim, but we're going to make it even stronger by going more into detail about the strongest, because I really haven't been specific about the strongest argument from the opposing side yet. So I'm going to go back down past my commentary. So here's my counterclaim. Many argue that his doing so was idiotic and careless, a bad example for other people wanting to find themselves. And then my rebuttal, however, Chris was incredibly intelligent and knew exactly what he was doing. He wasn't trying to be a role model. He simply wanted to find peace and tranquility in nature, and he accomplished his goal. This is cause for admiration. So notice, rebuttal is much longer than the counterclaim. Make sure you're spending the vast majority arguing against the counterclaim, not presenting the counterclaim. And then lastly, the concluding statement is when you want to tie it together and come full circle. So my concluding statement here, there are always critics and negative people who condemn others' journeys, but McCandless should not be viewed as idiotic because he made one fatal mistake. He found more during his short journey than most people find in their entire lives. So this goes back to my claim, why his journey is inspiring. Okay, so you're going to practice this a little bit more and write your own paragraph.